What is up, everyone? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and in today's video, we're talking about the breaking news of Blake Snell going to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the fact that the Yankees reportedly were somewhat involved in this sweepstakes. Now, whether it was preliminary interest, just trying to check and see what Blake Snell's price tag will look like, seeing what his market looked like, and just trying to survey all their options, or if it was genuine, legitimate interest, they tried to push for him and were unable to get him, that remains to be seen. Jon Heyman did put out that the Yankees were, they had a Zoom call, but that they seemed laser focused on Juan Soto. That makes sense. That adds up. It would make sense that their priority right now lies with Soto, who, quite honestly, is going to make, a crap ton of money. He's going to eat up a ton of payroll for whatever team signs him. So, you want to figure out what your secondary plan after that is after you're able to sign Soto. If, of course, the Yankees end up doing so, or if they don't, they're able to pivot and go elsewhere. Now, Blake Snell is obviously one of the best pitchers in baseball. This past season, he put up a 3.12 ERA across 20 starts, a 34.7% strikeout rate. That's with a weird start to a season that I think was very much influenced by, not having a normal spring training, not having a normal training regimen, not being able to get into his groove early on. He's been excellent over the last two seasons, a 2.57 ERA. That includes his Cy Young year in 2023. He struck out 32.7% of batters faced. He's a dominant pitcher. The Dodgers get him at a pretty high price tag. Not to say that it's not one he's deserving, but the Dodgers were probably the highest bidders in terms of total value. Now, not all of it is present day value, but it's still only going to defer enough money for the AAV on this deal to go down by like 32 or 33 million AAV instead of 36 million. It's better for the player. They, get to avoid some of the issues with tax stuff that can be really frustrating. Especially if you're going to live in California, taxes are high. By deferring some of the money, you can get some. There's some tax benefits that come with that. Furthermore, for the Dodgers, it opens up a little more of their luxury tax. So I wonder what their next move is from here. Heyman says they're not out on Soto, but again, I tie back to that early report. Early in the offseason from Jeff Passan talking about the Dodgers' interest in Soto and how he doesn't foresee them chasing him, and he honestly almost ruled out the idea that the Dodgers would land Soto. I believe they're there just to feel out what he's looking for and see if they're able to, just kind of see what he's looking for, feel out that situation, and potentially offer a short-term high AV deal, although I still think it comes down to the two New York teams. Perhaps Boston gets involved. We'll see. But as it pertains to the Yankees' rotation, I think the Yankees are interested in bolstering their rotation. I think the Yankees have shown a decent amount of interest, in improving their rotation. They were linked to Blake Snell. They're obviously going to be linked to Roki Sasaki. They've been linked to Garrett Crochet at the deadline. They did visit and just try to see what it would. They kind of pried at what it would take to get Crochet. I don't think they're going to. I think the other teams involved, the Mets and the Red Sox, seem to be a little more motivated, the Phillies as well. I think the Yankees can match up with the Mets offer, but I don't think they can match up with what the Red Sox can offer, and that's a bevy of just high-level prospects on the position player side of the ball. We're talking the big four with Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, Kyle Teal, and Christian Campbell. All four of those guys are consensus top 100 prospects. I'd argue at least two of those are in the running for the best prospect in baseball, with that being Christian Campbell and Roman Anthony. I don't really see the Yankees going down the Garrett Crochet avenue. I do not think Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones would be enough. As it pertains to, the starting pitching market as a whole, I don't anticipate the Yankees are going to shop at the Corbin Burnes or Max Fried side of things. Corbin Burnes, I think, is going to end up getting the most money out of all these pitchers. He has the best track record of just consistently being one of the 10 or so best pitchers in the sport. He's a Cy Young in his back pocket from 2021. My only concern with him is that his strikeout rate has dropped every single year since 2021. Now, whether that's because A, he's never going to strike out as many batters as he did in 2021 again, B, his stuff is deteriorating, or C, he's just trying to induce more contact and pitch deeper into games. That remains to be seen. If you look at Stuff Plus, Stuff Plus dropped from 143 in 2021 to 136 in 2022 to 127 in 2023 to 120 in 2024. So his Stuff Plus has dropped every single year. His cutter effectiveness has reduced every year. He's tried to mix in some sweepers to get more swing and miss, but he's been inconsistent in his ability to in his willingness to utilize said pitch. I just wonder if the Yankees are really going to be all that involved in the Corbin Burnes market. I'm not saying that to say he's not a great pitcher. He is undoubtedly one of the best pitchers in baseball. I just doubt that the Yankees are going to shell out the top offer for him. I think that's the Red Sox territory. I think it's maybe the Mets territory. where these are two teams who would love to add a frontline starter. The Yankees, again, not really looking for that number one, kind of just looking to bolster the rotation. As for guys who I think could fit that role, Jack Flaherty, who the Yankees showed interest in at the trade deadline, is someone who I think the Yankees will at least show some sort of interest in, or at least, be somewhat interested in talking to. Flaherty had a 3.17 ERA with a 29.9% strikeout rate at a 5.9% walk rate. He put up a 3.2 FWAR across 28 starts. He pitched 162 innings. It's the most innings he's pitched in a single season since 2019. He's only crossed the 180 inning pitch threshold once in his career. That was again in 2019, and he's only made more than 30 starts once in his career as well, again 2019. So there are some health concerns here. I do think the Yankees would be validated in showing a little bit of restraint and getting Flaherty. They didn't really. It's not like the Yankees decided not to trade for him because they didn't want to trade the prospects, but because of his medical records, which showed that there was something wrong there. Now, do I think that Flaherty is going to see his entire career collapse next year? No, but I do think there's a little bit of reasonable concern in terms of how he'll pitch going forward. But I will say what he did last year was super encouraging. He struck out, again, 29.9% of batters faced. One of the key metrics to look at for starting pitchers is strikeout to walk rate. He had a 24% strikeout to walk rate. That is elite. If he can maintain a strikeout to walk rate at or above 20%, this could be one of the better starting pitchers in baseball for the foreseeable future. Spot Track has him as a 3-year, $63 million player. That's $21 million a year for 3 years. I don't think it's going to cost that little to get him. I think he will get a 4th year, but even if it's a 4-year deal at around $80, $81, $82 million, that's still pretty good value, in my opinion, for a pitcher who, isn't old. He's going to enter his age 29 season next year. If it's a 4-year deal, you get the age 29, age 30, 31, 32 seasons. That's, in my opinion, just the window you want. That's the exact window you want for a starting pitcher. They're old enough to have enough reps to mature their arsenal, but they're young enough to still have their A-tier stuff and still throw, again, with their best stuff. And Flaherty's fastball came back to life this year. He was able to miss a ton of bats with it. His slider and curveball were gross. They missed a ton of bats as well. The only thing that I'm concerned with Flaherty is his high home run rate. He allowed a 1.33 home runs per 9 pitching in Detroit and Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, that spiked to 1.46. Detroit is a very fly ball friendly ballpark, so I kind of wonder if the Yankees are either A, gonna try to figure out ways to limit the damage contact, or B, the thing that I think the Tigers did really well is they helped Flaherty keep the ball on the ground a little more. I wonder if that's something the Yankees are able to do. Flaherty did toy around with a little bit of a sinker, and he missed way more bats in Los Angeles, in Detroit. He toyed around with a sinker. I thought he looked, cerebral in Detroit. I thought he was going to be the best pitcher moved at the deadline. I think you could reasonably argue he was one of the best starting pitchers, or one of the best players moved to the deadline based on a second half performance. His postseason play wasn't great. His stuff regressed. That's a little bit of concern. But again, I think Flaherty is the kind of guy who can slot into that number 2 spot and hold on well, although again, it comes with its own risks. Nathan Eovaldi is another name who I think could be on the Yankees' radar. He put up a 3.80 ERA across 29 starts this past season, a 23.9% strikeout rate, a 6.7 walk rate, a 1.21 home runs per 9, and a 48.3% ground ball rate. He missed way more bats this year than he has in years past. He had his highest swinging strike rate since the 2020 season, which was a shortened year, and it's not the kind of year you look at and go, all right, this is an elongated sample size, this guy punching out a ton of batters. He was really good at generating whiffs. I wonder if the Yankees believe there's still more left in the tank. This is someone who has familiarity with the Yankee organization, someone who the Yankees had interest in after the 2022 season when he hit free agency, and someone who has both the postseason pedigree and regular season pedigree to say, this is a guy who can be your number 2. So, I think Eovaldi would be a really strong starting pitcher option for the Yankees. He projects to have a 3.72 ERA next year with a 2.8 WAR. He's probably looking for a 2-year deal around $40 million. That's 2 years, $20 million a year. I think that's a strong. I think that'd be a strong contract to sign someone like Eovaldi for. I wonder if the Yankees would be able to move off of Stroman's money, and that would be able to entice them to get Eovaldi, or if they're willing to move off of someone like Nestor Cortez and go out and get a bat. I personally think the Yankees should look at the controllable bat market. If it costs you a Clark Schmidt, I love Clark Schmidt, but for the right player, you have to be willing to make any deal. You have to be, you have to think about what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. You have to think about, Schmidt is going to enter his age 29 season. He's not like a young guy. This isn't like a dude who's 25, has 10 years left in the league. You look at someone like Brendan Donovan, maybe that could be a fit. Donovan for Schmidt. You could look at someone like, if you want to stay in the same division, maybe the Brewers have some bats. Maybe they could use an arm. We'll see. But the Yankees are definitely in a position where, I think they should take advantage of a robust pitching market and try to sign a pitcher and trade for a bat if it helps them in the infield. The last pitcher who I think could be on the Yankees' radar is Nick Pivetta. Now, Nick Pivetta, unlike Flaherty and Eovaldi, comes with a qualifying offer. This is the reason why I think, I'm a little bit skeptical about mentioning him because he has a qualifying offer attached to him. I'd understand any, hesitancy to sign him because of that. But if you ask me, I think Pivetta may end up getting the lowest annual average salary of these three pitchers. I think he'll sign something like a 3-year, $55 million deal, something a little short of Yusei Kikuchi's deal because I don't think he has the same value on the market as someone as Yusei Kikuchi. But Pivetta has been someone who's healthy, who will eat up a ton of innings, who can miss a lot of bats. Over the last 2 seasons, he's been an underrated pitcher in my opinion. He has a 4.09 ERA, which is a 93 ERA minus. That's 7% better than the league average, pitching in Fenway Park, with a 30% strikeout rate and a 7.3% walk rate. Now, the home run per 9 rate has been up. That's a big problem. I understand people being scared of acquiring him because he's always allowed the long ball. But I also think, number one, you could be a good pitcher and a lot of home runs. Number two, I think Fenway Park contributes to that. I think pitching in a ballpark like Fenway, pitching behind a defense like the Red Sox's defense, it doesn't help. 133 stuff plus, a 108 pitching plus. This is a guy who should be a good pitcher. This is a guy who should be a very good pitcher in this league. I think he's more than capable of being a quality starter at the highest level. And he doesn't have to be, this Cy Young caliber pitcher. Can he be a 3.8 ERA guy and give you 170, 180 innings and miss a ton of bats? Because if he's that, he's a really strong starting pitcher at that. And I think that you could get him at a pretty decent, rate in terms of finances. I don't think he's going to cost you an arm and a leg. I think that's kind of the important thing for me. He's not, the most expensive pitcher in the world. He's a strong player. He's got great stuff. I think the Yankees would be, smart to at least look into his market, see what's going to cost to get him, get a feel. If teams are bidding like crazy, I understand staying away from him, but he's a good pitcher in my opinion. He has good stuff. He's showed it before. He's been above average in terms of run prevention in each of the last 2 seasons, and for the most part, he's stayed pretty healthy. Steer projects him for a 3.94 ERA and 162 innings with a ton of strikeouts. So, this is a guy who I think, again, could slide into like the 3 or 4 spot in your rotation and be an upgrade over someone like Nestor Cortez, or definitely an upgrade over someone like Marcus Stroman. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is there a starting pitcher you'd rather the Yankees go after? I know Shane Bieber, someone that we've talked about before. We'll probably do a dedicated episode to Shane Bieber and kind of that injured pitcher market, see where that's at. But, if there's anyone you guys think we should have mentioned in today's video, leave a comment in the description below. Subscribe. Let me know how you guys feel about today's video, how you feel about the Yankees. Did you want Blake Snell? Did you think it was realistic? And how do you feel in general? We just want to have a conversation in the comment section below. You guys can continue the conversation on our various social media platforms, whether that's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or, of course, this YouTube page. All under the handle at Fireside Yankees, except for Instagram, where it's at fireside.yankees. You guys can check me out at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter. And of course, you guys can also check out EmpireSportsMedia.com for all of your favorite written coverage of all of your favorite New York sports teams, including the New York Yankees. Thank you again for tuning in. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.